Well, one, hats off to Arizona State. I thought they played really well, especially defensively. That was one of the better tackling teams. That's what I said to Kenny after the game. I thought that was one of the better tackling defenses we faced. They didn't let a lot of extra yards go after contact or after yards after catch, which we've been really good at this year. So I thought they did a great job. We just missed on too many opportunities, and early we were holding them to field goals, and then we just didn't counter with any kind of scores. I hate it. I hate being in a locker room and feeling I let the guys down. But the one thing I said to them is, just like coming off a win, you've got to come back Sunday and look at the film and learn from it. We've got to do the same thing. It's just a lot harder to do whenever you lose. And the big thing is this is our goal is to keep winning and earn our way into the Big 12 championship, and that doesn't change anything with the loss today. It just makes it a little bit more difficult, and we got to fight our way back. Questions?
Fire away.
Joe, you said you feel like you let the guys down. In what way do you feel like you let the guys down?
Yeah, I just, I felt like we were ready to play. I wish that you look at the first half, and they did a great job schematically with some deep balls to number 16. They had two big shots. So looking at that, how we could adjust, I thought we did in the second half. Limited some of that. That last long pass was more of a scramble, and we lost 0, which you can't lose him. And then, offensively, going back and, pushing the ball a little bit more downfield, and talking to Mac of doing that. And when we were down there and they stopped us on fourth down, we checked the speed option and had a pretty decent play, but we thought we had that, and that was me, not Mac. And so really frustrated of, really just not winning and friggin' not playing well enough to win. They played better than we did, and, they played well enough to win.
Going into the game, was the playbook set up to favor Hammond's strengths, or did you kind of try and keep it what you had been running before?
No, we were trying to favor his strengths, try to get him going early. I'm telling you, man, like if you go back with all the teams that we played up to this point, that's a really good tackling defense. And they've done a good job of stopping the run. They did a good job today, of limiting some runs. And I thought they did a really good job of coming off blocks and limiting, like some plays would be, you would think 4 or 5 yard gains, and they were 2 yard gains, and that was a big part of it. One thing, that quarterback changes everything. He's a difference maker. He's one of the best in the country, and he played really well today. He threw for 319. I thought he did a good job with his feet whenever he needed to. And I know everybody rallies around him. So they're a different team whenever he's playing and he's back there. And so we did not play well enough today to win the football game.
You talk about complementary football so much, and in that first half, I know the offense wasn't producing the way it was, but that defense held them to 9 points. What do you feel like the shift was at halftime?
Yeah, the 9 points, it's really tough too. We played, I don't know how many plays total we played today, but it felt like, especially in the first half and really the third quarter, man, that defense was on the field a lot. They do a great job with time of possession. I think they're leading the Big 12 in time of possession. They stay ahead of the sticks. But the biggest thing is, when you're talking about complementary football, you got to answer a score with a score, and there's a lot of times we didn't do that.
You talk about time of possession right there. This team has been behind on time of possession in a good chunk of games, but in a positive way, just because of how quick the drives have been. What did you learn from this one in terms of how to approach a game where you're losing the battle of time possession?
Usually that doesn't matter. And it wouldn't today. We go up with 2 minutes left in the game, and then we give up a big play to get them down there in a scoring position. And so I don't take that. That's never a factor in for me winning a game or losing a game. There's a lot of teams that look at that. We just got to put the ball. We got to put the ball in the end zone. We've got to do a better job of staying on our blocks. But I mean, whenever it comes out to it, whenever you just look at it, when I watch the film, there's going to be stuff that we could have done, and you wish this would have happened, and they played better than we did. That's the bottom line. Whenever you look at it, they played better than we did.
So the game plan with Will at quarterback, Will had 15 carries, counting some sacks.
Yeah.
Dickey and Jacoby had fewer combined than Will did, I believe. Is that just probably some wing the extra had in the run game?
Yeah.
Or would you, in hindsight, would you rather have gotten more carries for your running backs?
No, I mean, well, I never say no to not getting the balls to those two guys, but more than anything, some of that was short yardage, of our quarterback runs. Some of it was scrambling, and then, not running the football very effective today had a lot to do with, those guys tackling really well, and then, us getting behind. I think whenever we got 19-7, you're not going to run the ball very much in the fourth quarter because you're limited, on how many possessions you're going to get. I mean, it was surprising that we got the possessions that we got to take the lead. And some of that was, drop balls and stuff like that to stop the clock.
Going back to the speed option, play that didn't work.
Yeah.
The other consideration there was what?
We had a pass to John Carlos, and probably should have stuck with it. I mean, they gave us a good look. It's always frustrating sometimes, it's running into the boundary. You just kind of run out of real estate.
Leadership-wise, you lost your two probably biggest leaders on the team, Morton and Howard. In practice this past week, did you notice anything?
No. Whenever you're looking at Barron, you're just looking at so much experience. Same way with Howard. But I thought the guys, leadership-wise, did a good job. I thought throughout the game, Lee Hunter was extremely vocal in a good way. I thought that was a big plus. That it would help to have those guys without a doubt. Especially in the rotation with Skyler. That's a big part of it. But we just got to find a way to play better.
Coach, you said that you knew this team at some point was going to face this kind of adversity. This is the first time you guys had been in a one-possession ball game in the last 2 minutes of a game this season. What are some of the things that you want to see moving forward and the adjustments that you want to make moving forward in the next week heading into your next game?
I think more than anything, we're fixing to find out how we're going to face a loss. That's the adversity that you got to find out. I mean, I thought really, if you look at the whole of the game, facing adversity and coming back and taking the lead with 2 minutes left in the game, we faced adversity pretty well. Like, those guys fought. There was never a time that they pulled away from us and that we kept fighting and, took the lead late in the game. I think the biggest thing we're going to find out, and that's going to be, we'll know that next Saturday. We'll know through the week and next Saturday of how, you face a loss and, you drop in the rankings and, you hear all the noise, from everywhere and anywhere. Just like I told them, it's the same thing as when you win. You hear the noise of the win, and how do you handle that? You're going to hear the same noise. It's just going to be different. It's going to be more negative. How do you handle that? We're going to find out a lot about this team throughout this week going into Saturday at home.
Got time for about two more.
I don't know if you know too much because obviously you're focused on the game, but did you have anything that were told anything about Terrence Carter at all?
Ankle, hopefully he hurt it early in the half on the inside, and then whenever he went out, he hurt it on the outside. So he's kind of got a double shot there of outside and inside. So we'll see, throughout the week, how he feels.
With the win, you talk about ignoring the noise a little bit more. Do you at all let any of it in this week to try and give them extra motivation?
No, they'll be motivated enough. I mean, that will be honestly, that's the question. When in the locker room, what I said to them was like, there's nobody in here that hadn't been through a loss in their career. We just have not been through a loss as a team. And so we're going to find out, how we deal with that. I don't know how many teams throughout the year, probably Ohio State, I guess. We'll find out tonight with BYU and Utah, but I don't know how many at the end of the year undefeated teams we're going to have. So we've got to bounce back and like we do with the win, take it 1 week at a time. I know that's coach speak, but it really is, and get ready to go back home and attack the sweep.
In
Finish this up, Doc.
in the second quarter, you had to play a 4th and I think 6 at the +36. Will throws incomplete. Was any consideration given to Stone for a 54-yard field goal?
Yeah, there was, but being so early in the game, kind of going back, I think, to, I want to say the Houston game when we missed a couple. We were thinking about early in the game, of being 4 down territory, so sequencing plays right there, and so that's why we went for it. If you look at the stats, I mean, those are the things. We were 1 for 3 on 4th down. We were 6 of 16 on 3rd down. Those are 2 big ones. And then, we were on the red zone 3 times, but we were 2 for 3 in the red zone. They were 5 for 5, so that's a big difference in the game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right,
More
thank you,
players.
guys.
Second.